Many thanks for staying with us on Channels Television. A warm welcome. You're watching News at 5. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. The Department of State Services, the DSS, has arraigned a former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and his son, Abdulaziz, on a 5-count charge bordering on alleged terrorism and illegal firearms possession. In the charge filed before the Federal High Court, Abuja, Mr. Malami is also accused of refusing to prosecute suspected terrorism financiers whose case files were handed to him while he served as the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. Mr. Malami and Abdulaziz are equally accused of warehousing firearms in their residence at Gese Phase 2 area in Biren Kebbi, local government area of Kebbi State, without lawful authority. They pleaded not guilty when the charges were read to them. A counsel to the prosecution, Callistus Eze, thereafter prayed the court to order their remand in the custody of the DSS and fix a date for the commencement of trial. Responding, the defense lawyer, Shuaibu Arawan, a senior advocate of Nigeria, applied orally for bail for the defendants, arguing that the defendants had been in DSS custody for over 2 weeks. Justice Joyce Abdulmalik rejected the oral bail application, noting that her court is a court of record, and ordered the defense to file a formal application for bail. She then ordered that the defendants be remanded in the custody of the DSS and adjourned till February the 20th for the commencement of trial. The Ebonyi State Police Command has arrested Anya Baron Ogbunaya, coordinator of Amasiri Development Center in Afikpo local government area, and 2 traditional rulers over the killings and attack on Okporojo community in Eda local government area of the state. During the attack, about 4 persons were beheaded and their heads taken away. Confirming the arrest, the SP Joshua Okandu said the traditional rulers were identified as Oyedam Basi and Godfrey Okwabia. Now, Okandu noted that the arrest followed a joint operation by the police, the Nigerian Army, the Department of State Services, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, adding that 10 suspects had earlier been arrested as investigations continued. The leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress, that's the NLC, and that of the Trade Union Congress, the TUC, have suspended their planned protest at the office of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike. Now, the joint protest, which was proposed by the 2 Labour centres, was against the backdrop of an ongoing strike embarked upon by staff of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA. On Monday, the FCT minister got a court order which restrained the worker unions from embarking on the planned protest, just as the FCT police also issued a statement advising the workers to shelve the protest. Notwithstanding the restrictions from the court and the police, the Labour leaders insisted on engaging in the demonstration. In what appears to be a twist of events, however, the Labour leaders, via a press statement, directed all the workers who had been on strike to resume work immediately, citing a last-minute reconciliation meeting held with the FCT minister. According to the statement, the Labour leaders have secured the commitment of the minister to address the issues raised by the workers, and that the minister have agreed to withdraw the case at the industrial court, and a promise not to victimize any worker who participated in the strike. The federal government has flagged off a free nationwide training of 10 million Nigerians on financial inclusion and literacy. Vice President Kashim Shettima flagged off the training program when he oversaw the signing of a memorandum of understanding with 6 professional bodies that will jointly design the training programs. Our State House correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
Members of the Presidential Committee on Economic and Financial Inclusion, chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima, are in his office at the State House Abuja to finalize plans for the training of 10 million women and youths on essential financial skills, investment knowledge, and digital competencies for sustainable wealth creation. The training is designed and will be executed jointly by 6 professional bodies, including the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, National Institute of Credit Administration, Chartered Risk Management Institute, and Nigeria Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. One after the other, memoranda of understanding are signed between the federal government and the professional bodies, with Vice President Shettima overseeing the signing of the agreements. The Vice President, speaking on behalf of President Bola Tinubu, noted that Nigeria cannot build a $1 trillion economy on weak skills, fragmented standards, or disconnected professional ecosystems.
This collaboration prioritizes women and youth inclusion and digital transformation. Recognizing that Nigeria's demographic dividend will only materialize if young people are equipped with relevant skills and ethical grounding for a fast-evolving digital economy.
The Presidential Committee on Economic and Financial Inclusion is optimistic that the training of 10 million Nigerians on financial inclusion will address the challenges of access to finance, weak institutional capacity, and insufficient professional support.
By the time they rally around the initiative of the federal government to promote financial inclusion, financial literacy, digital literacy, economic inclusion, and all of that, the training will now all go into hand-holding of these activities, as well as even providing a platform where entrepreneurs can actually do their trainings, they can have their way, can trade their thing. We can also leverage on this to be able to catch on the AFCFTA, which is the continental policy.
The training program will kick off in the coming days, with beneficiaries cutting across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. From the Presidential Villa, Empress Simon, Channels Television News.
To the National Assembly now, where the Senate has confirmed the appointment of Honorable Justice Oyewole Kayode as a Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The confirmation followed the presentation and adoption of a report by the Chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Ni Adegbomire, during plenary. Now, after the confirmation, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, prayed that God would grant Justice Oyewole Kayode the wisdom and courage to dispense justice fairly and without regard to status. Now, the chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Buba Marwa, is advocating the need for strong national response and sustained support for the Alternative Development Program recently initiated by the agency to help curb illicit cultivation of cannabis in order to uplift rural communities and enhance national security. Addressing a news conference at the headquarters of the agency in Abuja, General Marwa laments that out of a total of 15 million kilograms of illicit drugs seized by the agency in the last 5 years, over 75% of them are cannabis. General Marwa adds that with the youth and adults turning to the habitual use of cannabis, Nigeria faces the threat of long-term health consequences, increasing dependency and cascading social harms.
The evidence-based comprehensive data on drug use in Nigeria exposes a bleak and troubling reality. According to the 2018 National Drug Use Survey conducted by the National Bureau of Statistics with technical support from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, an estimated 14.4% of Nigerians aged between 15 to 64 years, or roughly 14.3 million people, reported using at least one psychoactive substance in the past year, a figure that is more than twice the global prevalence of drug use. Cannabis stands starkly at the center of this crisis, dominating both patterns of consumption and the illicit cultivation landscape. Cannabis is not a marginal issue in Nigeria. It is the most frequently used and widely available illicit drug in the country. An estimated 10.6 million adults more than 1 in every 10 Nigerians in the prime of life reported using cannabis in the past year.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wide Shaibu, is again reaffirming his commitment to advance the transformation of the Nigerian Army into a more professional, adaptable, combat-ready and resilient force capable of protecting the nation's democracy. Speaking in Abuja at the annual conference of the Department of Special Services and Programs, the Chief of Army Staff, who was represented by the Chief of Logistics Army, Major General Adeyinka Adekunle, urged officers and men of the Nigerian Army to remain committed to discharging their constitutional responsibilities within the ambit of the law.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I seek your indulgence to please inform you that all security measures to ensure your speeds.
On the Niger Delta Development Commission, the NDDC has commissioned the 8.1-kilometer Ogu Community Road Network and the 1,500-seater town hall in Ogubulo local government area of Rivers State. While speaking at the inauguration of the two projects, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, praised the current NDDC leadership for replicating the federal government's renewed hope agenda in the Niger Delta region.
Area of River State as the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC intensifies efforts to bridge infrastructure gaps across rural communities. In the riverine settlement, the Commission is delivering an 8.1-kilometer concrete road network complete with drainages alongside a modern 1,500 capacity town hall. The commissioning ceremony is headlined by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike.
I hereby commission this to the glory of God, the glory of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. I'm telling you that I'm very, very happy. Very, very happy. And this is the essence of NDDC. I'm not castigating those who have been there before, but I can tell you, this is my first time in participating in what NDDC is doing. As governor, I never participated because I don't know what they were doing. This one I can see, and I can tell anybody who cares to hear that this NDDC is different from the other NDDC we used to have.
Earlier, the Managing Director of the NDDC, Samuel Ogboko, reaffirmed the Commission's resolve to implement President Bola Tinubu's mandate of changing the development narrative in Nigeria's oil-producing region.
These projects that are being commissioned today is for the benefit of the people of Ugu Kingdom and a demonstration of what NDDC has been doing across the Niger Delta. This is just one of those projects. This is the renewed NDDC under the renewed hope of the federal government led by President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. These are the things that he has told us to do for the people of the Niger Delta, and we're actually taking these developments across the nook and cranny of the Niger Delta.
Community leaders hailed the projects as transformative.
On behalf of the community, Ogu community, we say thank you. Thank you. Without you, we will not have this project. Your Excellency, this is one of the best, and Ogu had never had this magnitude of this project before. A town hall that will take almost 1,000 persons at a time. Your Excellency, thank you. And through you, we say that the President has done well.
While the road is expected to enhance connectivity between Ogu and neighboring communities and stimulate socio-economic activities, the town hall will serve as a hub for public engagement and revenue generation within the local government.
When we come back after the break, Nemeth International Pharmaceuticals will post its company earnings for the year 2025. That's in business news. Join us again. Welcome back. The federal government has launched a maternal and neonatal mortality reduction innovation initiative in Rivers State to curb preventable maternal and newborn deaths. The health initiative by the Federal Ministry of Health is critical as 6 local government areas in the state, among 172 others nationwide, have been identified as high-risk zones with the highest maternal and neonatal mortality rates.
Nigeria's alarming maternal health indices remains a major concern, with Rivers and 32 other states accounting for about 55% of maternal deaths nationwide and contributing nearly 30% of the global burden. To reverse the trend, the Federal Ministry of Health is launching the Maternal and Neonatal Mortality Reduction Innovation Initiative in Ebonyi local government area of Rivers State.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, this is his clear vision that it makes no sense that any woman should lose her life needlessly for bringing another life. And in line with that vision is why the coordinating minister, Professor Lipati, has provided the leadership for us to begin the implementation of Malami.
Launched in 2025, the state coordinator of the health initiative identifies high-risk communities in Rivers for targeted intervention.
Right now, we are using 5 facilities. We are using the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. We are using Okrika Zonal Hospital and General Hospital Eleme, in Chia Eleme, then Zonal Hospital Ahoda. We have also accredited the Rivers State University Teaching Hospital, General Hospital Okomoko, General Hospital Ngo in Andoni. Then General Hospital Boni here has also been accredited by us.
The MAMI implementation plan is presented by the National Coordinator to the Rivers State Task Force, chaired by the Commissioner for Health. In her response, the Commissioner reaffirms the state's commitment.
Today is about saving lives of our mothers and our newborns, whether they live on the mainland or across our creeks and waterways. Across our riverine communities, the government of Sir Siminala Ifubara understands the realities. When labor starts at night, when the tides are high, and when distance and transport delays can mean the difference between life and death. No woman should lose her life because help could not reach her on time.
Key benefits of MAMI is the provision of free antenatal care, skilled delivery, postnatal services, and emergency medical interventions for complications.
Some members of the Lagos State House of Assembly today held a meeting with residents who have been affected by the Makoko demolition exercise carried out by the Lagos State government within the area. Now, the meeting, led by the majority leader of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Noim Adams, is to help address the recurring issue of Makoko and Oworoshiki demolition exercise. Some of the community leaders emphasized that they do not want any non-governmental organization to represent them anymore. They said they are ready to dialogue with the government by themselves and also appeal to the state government to stop demolishing Makoko. Now, the Special Advisor on Aegis and Urban Development, Mr. Olajide Babatunde, who was at the meeting, says government has constantly engaged the people of Makoko on the ongoing regeneration plan. He explained that the state government has no plan of wiping off Makoko community and the demolition has been stopped. According to him, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has allocated $2 million for the development of Makoko, and the community will remain there because the community is part of Lagos's history. He also promised that those that were affected by the demolition will be duly compensated. The majority leader of the State Assembly, Honorable Noim Adams, who is also the Chairman House Committee on Makoko demolition, directed all ministries and agencies involved in the demolition exercise to stop all the demolition in Makoko, Okwafon and Shogunro community. He also assured the people that the State Assembly members will visit the area to carry out an on-the-spot assessment to confirm the specific setback being taken by government, and the community leaders will be elected as members of the task force committee that will be constituted. Honorable Adams says government will continue to protect lives and property and will not ignore the dangers attributed to living under the high tension. The State Assembly members was also not pleased with the chairman of Yaba Local Council Development Area, Mr. Bayo Adefuye, for distributing foodstuffs to those who were displaced in Makoko. According to the House, what they needed most at that time was shelter and not palliatives. Welcome to Business News. Nemeth International Pharmaceuticals PLC posted a pre-tax profit of 1.49 billion naira for the year ended December 31st, 2025, marking a strong turnaround from the pre-tax loss of 854.43 million naira recorded in 2024. The company's financial results filed to the Nigerian Exchange showed that the impressive performance was bolstered by a 48 million naira foreign exchange gain compared to a loss of over 2 billion naira in the prior year. This represents a significant improvement of 274% year-on-year. Transcorp Hotels posted a full-year pre-tax profit of 32.8 billion naira in 2025. That's up 45.1%, driven mostly by strong revenue, which grew 38.36% to 97 billion naira. Now, the growth was further encouraged by the reversal of a financial asset impairment, which turned the 69.1 million naira loss into a 16.5 million naira gain, along with lower finance costs. Reflecting this strong performance, the company plans to disburse a final dividend of 1.20 naira per ordinary share for the year ended December 2025, payable to shareholders on February the 27th this year, 2026. The price of chicken and other poultry produce have continued to rise in recent times, despite the act by the federal government to open the borders to allow grain imports to ease the price of poultry feed. The Vice Chairman of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter, Mr. Ali, has, however, raised concern that these reductions are yet to reflect the decline, and he was a guest on our Business Morning program.
In the last 2-3 years, the price of grains, maize, soya, which are major content of our feed, has gone up. Maize moved up from about 300-400 naira to about 800 naira per kilogram. Soya meal moved up from about 400 naira to about 1,200 naira per kilogram. And that was responsible for the high cost of feed. And at that point in time, farmers have to respond by increasing the price of eggs. Towards the end of last year, towards the end of last quarter of last year, the federal government, listened to the cry of the people and decided to open the borders for us to bring in grains to reduce price. Good enough, the price has come down. But the feed millers, which are the people that are producing the feed that will give the birds, have refused to bring down the price of grains. And which is one of the reasons why government has good intention to bring in maize to solve the problem of bringing down price of food. But the people that are producing the feed, which we don't understand why the price of feed has not come down up until now, the price of feed is still very high. And so with that high price of feed, which consists of about 65 to 70% of the input of the farmer, it actually determines the price of the egg. It actually determines the price of the chicken. And that's why the price is still high today. Because whatever high cost of input that the farmer has to pay for, they have to be transferred to the consumer. So the big question we need to ask ourselves today is that why is the price of finished feed still high, despite the sharp drop in price of grains?
The Director in charge of Social Expenditure at the Budget Office of the Federation, Mr. Yusuf Mohammed, has announced plans for the introduction of a new approach towards managing electricity subsidies, with a focus on sharing costs across different tiers of government. Speaking at a meeting with representatives from ministers, departments and agencies, Mr. Mohammed explains that government aims to make burden sharing practical and transparent, while ensuring that subsidy costs don't become hidden liabilities or arrears in the market. He emphasized that the ministries, departments and agencies must continue to prioritize transparency and accountability in managing electricity subsidy costs.
If we want they will shape approvals, releases and execution outcome in 2026. The anchors are 1. Electricity subsidy burden sharing across tiers of government. Mr. President has directed that we operationalize a clearer framework to share the cost of electricity across the Federation, so the burden is not treated as an open-ended fiscal residual, federal residual. Let me be direct. If we want a stable power sector, we must pay for the choices we make. When tariffs are held below cost, a gap is created. That gap is a subsidy, and a subsidy is a bill. In 2026, we will stop pretending that this bill can be led to the federal government alone, especially where the policy choice or the political benefit is shared across tiers of government. Mr. President's directive is to invoke the electricity sector legal framework to make burden sharing practical and transparent. This means subsidy costs must be explicit, tracked, and funded so that they do not return as arrears, liquidity crisis, or hidden liabilities in the market.
And that's news at 5. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun.